Hi, Alex. I thought we could have a chat about jobs today. It's such a broad and important topic.
Absolutely, Myra. There's so much to discuss. Where should we start?
Well, let's begin with the process of looking for a job. First off, there's the job search itself. You can use various job boards like Indeed or LinkedIn. What do you think is the most effective way to search for a job?
I think networking is huge. Getting in touch with people in your field, attending industry events. Sometimes the best job opportunities aren't even advertised publicly. But of course, job boards are also really useful. When you find a job you're interested in, you need to prepare a great resume.
Right. A resume is like your professional snapshot. You need to highlight your work experience, skills, and achievements. And don't forget about the cover letter. It's your chance to introduce yourself and explain why you're the perfect fit for the job. Do you have any tips for writing a good cover letter?
Keep it concise and personalized. Address it to the specific person if possible. And make sure it complements your resume, not just repeats it. Oh, and another important part of the job hunting process is the interview.
Interviews can be so nerve-wracking. There are different types too, like the phone interview, the in-person interview. And now, with technology, video interviews are really common. What kind of questions do you think are important to prepare for?
Well, questions about your past experience, like, can you describe a challenging project you worked on and how you overcame the difficulties, are pretty standard, and they often ask about your strengths and weaknesses. You have to be careful with the weakness question. You don't want to say something that would disqualify you.
True. You could say something like, I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, so I sometimes spend a little too much time on details, but I'm working on finding a better balance. That way, it shows yourself, aware and taking steps to improve. And then there are behavioral interviews. They ask you to describe situations where you demonstrated certain skills or qualities.
Exactly. For example, tell me about a time when you had to work in a team and there was a conflict. How did you handle it? It's all about showing your real life experiences and how you can apply your skills in different work scenarios. Once you ace the interview, you might get a job offer.
Yes, and that's when you have to think about the terms of the offer. There's the salary, of course, but also benefits like health insurance, dental insurance, and paid time off. Do you think it's okay to negotiate a job offer?
Definitely. Most employers expect some negotiation, especially if you have valuable skills or experience. You can research the market rate for your position and use that as a basis for negotiation. But it's not just about the money. You also need to consider things like work-life balance. Some jobs might offer a high salary, but require long hours and a lot of stress.
That's so true. Work-life balance is becoming more and more important. There are jobs with flexible working hours, which is great for people who have other commitments outside of work. And then there are different work arrangements, like full-time, part-time, and remote work. What kind of work arrangement do you prefer?
I like the idea of a hybrid model, where you work some days in the office and some days remotely. It gives you the best of both worlds. You get the social interaction and collaboration in the office, but also the flexibility to work from home when you need to. But different industries have different norms.
Absolutely. In the tech industry, remote work is quite common, especially for software developers and designers. But in some customer-facing roles, like in a retail store or a restaurant, you have to be on site. And once you start a job, you'll have a job description.
Right, a job description outlines your responsibilities and duties. It's important to understand it clearly so you know what's expected of you. And within a job, there are different career paths. For example, in a marketing role, you could start as a marketing assistant, then move up to a marketing coordinator, and eventually become a marketing manager.
That's a great example. And each step usually requires different skills and experience. To move up in your career, you might need to get additional training or certifications. What kind of certifications do you think are valuable in different fields?
In the finance industry, a CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst certification, can really boost your career. In the IT field, certifications like Cisco or Microsoft certifications are highly regarded. And in project management, the PMP, Project Management, Professional certification is very popular. But it's not just about certifications. You also need to build your soft skills.
Soft skills are so important. Skills like communication, teamwork, and leadership. In any job, you need to be able to communicate effectively with your colleagues, superiors, and clients. And being a good team player is essential, especially in today's collaborative work environments. How do you think one can improve their leadership skills?
Taking on leadership roles in small projects, even within your existing job, can be a great start. Reading books on leadership and learning from successful leaders can also be helpful. And then there's job satisfaction. What do you think contributes to job satisfaction?
I think it's a combination of things. Having a sense of purpose in your work, feeling valued by your employer, and having good relationships with your colleagues. Also, having opportunities for growth and development within the company is really important. Do you agree?
Completely. And sometimes people might feel stuck in their jobs. That's when they might consider a career change. It can be a scary step, but also very rewarding. What do you think are the key things to consider when making a career change?
Well, you need to assess your skills and interests. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? And then research the new field you're interested in. Find out about the job market, the required skills, and the potential salary. It might also be a good idea to talk to people who are already working in that field.
That's solid advice. And once you've decided on a career change, you might need to go back to school or take some courses to gain the necessary skills. It's a long-term investment in yourself. But let's go back to the day. 2-day work. There are different types of tasks in a job. Some are routine, like answering emails or filing paperwork. And then there are more complex tasks, like leading a project or solving a major problem.
Yes, and being able to manage your time effectively is crucial when dealing with a mix of tasks. You need to prioritize tasks based on their importance and urgency. There are tools like to-do lists and project management software that can help with this. What's your favorite time management tool?
I like using Trello. It's a visual project management tool. You can create boards for different projects, lists for different stages of the project, and cards for individual tasks. It makes it really easy to see what needs to be done and who's responsible for what. But in any job, there can also be stress.
Stress is inevitable, but there are ways to manage it. Taking breaks throughout the day, practicing relaxation techniques like deep breathing or meditation, and having a good support system at work can all help. And sometimes stress can be a bad motivator, as long as it doesn't become overwhelming. What do you do to de-stress after a long day at work?
I like to go for a run. It's a great way to clear my mind and get some exercise at the same time. Some people prefer reading, listening to music, or spending time with friends and family. And in the workplace, there are different management styles. Some managers are very hands-on, while others are more hands-off.
Right. A hands-on manager might closely supervise their employees, giving detailed instructions and feedback. A hands-off manager, on the other hand, gives their employees more freedom to make decisions and complete tasks on their own. Which management style do you think is better?
It depends on the employees and the nature of the work. For new employees or complex tasks, a hands-on approach might be more beneficial. But for experienced employees who are self-motivated, a hands-off style can allow them to be more creative and productive. And then there's the company culture.
Company culture is really important. It can make or break your job experience. A positive company culture might include things like open communication, teamwork, and a focus on employee well-being. It can be seen in how the company treats its employees, how decisions are made, and what values are emphasized. How can you tell if a company has a good culture during the job hunting process?
You can look at reviews on websites like Glassdoor, talk to current or former employees if possible, and during the interview, pay attention to how the interviewers interact with you. Are they friendly, respectful, and open? Also, look at the company's social media presence. It can give you an idea of their values and how they present themselves to the public.
That's good advice. And let's not forget about job security. In some industries, like technology, there can be a lot of change and job insecurity. New technologies can make certain jobs obsolete. How do you think employees can stay relevant and secure their jobs in such a changing environment?
Continuous learning is key. Keep up with the latest trends and technologies in your field. Take on new challenges at work and be willing to adapt. Also, building a strong professional network can help. You might hear about new job opportunities or be able to find support if you do face job loss.
Absolutely. And in some cases, employees might unionize to protect their rights and interests. Unions can negotiate better working conditions, wages, and benefits on behalf of the workers. Do you think unions are still relevant today?
I think they are. In many industries, unions play an important role in ensuring fair treatment of employees. They can also be a voice for workers in matters like workplace safety and job security. But there are also some drawbacks. Sometimes, union-management relations can be strained, which can affect productivity.
That's true. It's all about finding a balance. And as the job market continues to evolve, new types of jobs are emerging. For example, jobs in the gig economy, like ride, sharing drivers and freelance workers. What do you think are the pros and cons of gig economy jobs?
The pros are definitely the flexibility. You can choose when and how much you work. And it can be a great way to earn some extra income or start your own business. But the cons include lack of benefits, like health insurance and paid time off. And income can be inconsistent.
Right. And then there are jobs in emerging fields, like artificial intelligence and renewable energy. These fields are growing rapidly and offer a lot of opportunities, but they also require specialized skills. How do you think educational institutions can better prepare students for these emerging jobs?
They need to update their curricula to include the latest technologies and trends, offer more hands-on experience through internships and projects, and encourage interdisciplinary learning, as many of these emerging jobs require a combination of skills from different fields.
That makes sense. And as we talk about all these different aspects of jobs, it really shows how complex and dynamic the world of work is. Whether you're just starting out in your career or looking to make a change, there's always something new to learn and consider.
Absolutely, Myra. It's an exciting and challenging journey,